So today we're going to look at and just maybe review all of the different kinds of text features that happen when you're reading nonfiction. The words that come up that you probably have heard a million times, but maybe you need to go over. So we're going to talk about nonfiction text features. The first one is the table of contents. The table of contents is a list to help the reader find where information can be found. It lists chapters or sections with the page numbers. So when you have a book, and here, let's look at this one, and you open it up, you've got something that usually says contents on it, and it's got a list with titles and page numbers. It's called the table of contents. Here's an example. That book is obviously about what? Frogs and toads. So you can see the page number here and the chapter title here. The other one is headings. Headings are words or phrases that tell the reader what the paragraph below will be about. So if you're looking for specific information, the first place to go after you find the chapter in the table of contents is with a header. You can even read an entire book that way pretty quickly just by looking at the headers. Photographs, one of my favorite parts of nonfiction. Photographs are pictures taken with a camera. They help the reader to see the object as in real life. So here's a picture of a very cool looking frog. Captions. Captions are those things that go under the pictures, right? Captions are sentences placed near a picture to give the reading information about the picture. Poison dart frogs come in a variety of colors. That caption tells what those pictures are about. Diagrams. Sometimes diagrams can be a little bit hard to read. A diagram is a picture or drawing that has labels to tell the reader about parts. Lines or arrows point to things in the drawing. So here is a picture of a frog, but it's a diagram because it points out all the different parts of the frog. So that's a diagram. Labels. Labels provide information by pointing out an object within a picture or photograph. Lines or arrows point to that object. So here, these are labels in this picture so that you know, for this one, the different stages of the frog development. All right, close-up. A close-up is a picture or illustration that zooms in to show a closer view of an object. It shows the object with more detail. So here's a close-up of a frog eyeball. Charts and graphs. A chart or a graph can be used to help the reader understand the information better. I really like charts when I'm reading nonfiction because I can see the information then. I'm not just reading it, I actually have a picture of it. So here is an example. You can see right off the bat, whatever this one is talking about here, that the yellow one is the most. So here it breaks down the information in a graphic way. Types of print. This is actually something that kind of came up when you were writing your essay because you need to know that there are different kinds of types or fonts. Special print types or fonts are used to make important words stand out. Bold, italics, right, that was for your title of your essay, underline, and highlighted. Bullets and asterisks. Bullets, asterisks, and stars are used to put emphasis on words or make them easier for the reader to understand. Many times they are a list. So these are bullet points here. You've got bullet points for a list. Indent and sidebars. Insets and sidebars. Insets and sidebars are small boxed-in area in a nonfiction text that provides additional details about a subject. So you actually could have a lot of those with nonfiction. So I'm going to grab a book here and show you. So I grabbed a book off the shelf here about the Cold War. And here it has a little indent and sidebar. It's in italics. And then you'll notice here that the big words, the important words, are bolded. We've got pictures and we've got captions. okay, and little side bars here. All right, maps. Maps give the reader more information about the location of whatever they are reading about. So here's a map. There's Indonesia right there. And a lot of the nonfiction that you'll be reading will have a map. This one has a map and labels. Remember, that's what we learned about earlier, labels that say where the important places are. Timelines. I really like timelines too. I used to teach social studies and we made a lot of timelines. A timeline helps a reader understand the time, order, or sequence of events in a nonfiction book or article. So here's a really basic one about the frog's life cycle compared to the human's life cycle, right? But a lot of times here's the timeline right here. Cold War timeline. You can see that has key events and linked to other parts in history as well. And it's got the years down the side. So a timeline can go horizontally or vertically. Glossary. A glossary is an alphabetical listing of important words from the text. It's like the dictionary, and then it's found at the back of a nonfiction book. So a glossary would be a really good place to add to your use for your word wall when you're trying to understand what you're reading. Use the glossary. So here is one in this book. It's got a glossary, and the first word on there is allies, and then it tells you what it means. It says countries who fight together for a common purpose. So a glossary is going to be very useful when trying to understand your nonfiction. An index is different. An index is an alphabetical list of important words and the page numbers where the reader can find information throughout the book. So this one has an index, right? And the first one on there is Afghanistan, and it has the pages where you can find that information. So indexes are very helpful when doing research. It was the first place that I went after looking at the table of contents to see if it would even have the things that I was looking for when I was researching. Then I would go back to the index. So here's an example of an index. Here are all the different ways that features of nonfiction and how they help us read. So the table of contents is in the front, and it helps us find the part of the book we are looking for. The index is at the end, and it helps us find the information we are looking for by giving page numbers. Photographs, illustrations, diagrams, and maps, they can be anywhere. A caption is always near a picture. A glossary is usually at the end. Section headings, they could be anywhere. Different kinds of print, they could be anywhere, and they help us notice that certain words or parts are important. So hopefully this was helpful in how to read nonfiction and what all of these actually are. What all these different parts of reading are. So you're going to want to be starting to review these and becoming very familiar with them so that when we come to a point and I point it out, I say, what is this? You can say it's a subheading. And what is this? It's a caption. What is this? It's a label. So you're going to maybe use this video and just listen to it every once in a while so that you really get this down.